Melbourne Storm were the only team that the Penrith Panthers failed to beat in 2003 on their way to taking the premiership crown. And this afternoon, as we welcome you to the Penrith Football Stadium, the Southerners will be again be very confident of keeping their good record intact. Penrith come in after a highly impressive performance over the Roosters last weekend and have only been forced to make one change to that successful 17. At fullback, Reece Wesser. On the wings, Amos Roberts and Luke Rooney. The centres, Ryan Girdler and Luke Lewis. The 5'8" is Preston Campbell, the halfback and captain Craig Gower. Trent Waterhouse locks the scrum. Joe Nullavow and Tony Puletu are the second rowers. Joel Clinton, Luke Priddis and Martin Lang make up the front row. Their bench this afternoon, Ben Ross and Shane Rodney. Frank Pritchard comes in for Luke Swain. Paul Fatawira, their coach John Lang. Melbourne have only won one game this year. At one stage last weekend against Brisbane, led 18 points to 4 before going down. But this afternoon come into the game with a very inexperienced backline. At fullback is Billy Slater. On the wings, Jake Webster and Dustin Cooper. Stephen Bell and Matt King are the centre pairing. Scott Hill is the 5'8", Matt Orford at half. A back row of David Kidwell, Peter Robinson, Steve Kearney, who's the captain, Robbie Kearns, Cameron Smith and Rodney Howe. Their interchange, Danny Williams and Kirk Reynoldsson. Antonio Kafusi and Brian Hoffman, their coach, Craig Bellamy.
Sean Hampstead, close to a couple of hundred first-grade games. And of course, that's another thing that is open for grabs this year. Grand final whistle. Melbourne then, running from right to left against the defending champions in front of a fairly big crowd on this Easter Sunday. With some cloud cover now taking the heat away just a little bit from what has been a day better suited to the beach. And here's Joe Nullavow taking it just out towards the 25-metre line as he plays the ball back for Priddis. And Priddis serves it up for Martin Lang. He's met by a couple of the other big forwards from Melbourne, Kearney and the second rower for them, Peter Robinson, playing the number 11. Dominant tackle, the call from Hampstead as Waterhouse plays it and Puletua goes striding up on the edge of the play the ball area. Good tackle by Robinson. It's gone away to Gower. He puts it through and low. It's fielded over there by Cooper, the number 5. Dustin Cooper. He played it just inside 30 and this is Bell. Playing the ball 20 metres in from the eastern side of the ground. Rodney Howe. We haven't seen him on a Channel 9 telecast for quite some time. As Robinson takes it out, we go to the sideline. Andrew Voss.
Right, I don't think the two teams were banking on the humidity this afternoon. It's far from perfect conditions for football. It'll be quite sapping at times, I'm sure, for the two sides. But other than that, with that cloud cover, as you mentioned, it's getting a little better. Look, the Storm have won only one game out of 3 this year, but they have averaged 28 points a game, so it could be in for a high-scoring afternoon.
Rooney with the ball over in front of the Eastern grandstand, and that is Girdler inside the 30-metre line, with the Panthers having their second set of 6 now. Priddis. Lang again, and Howe and Kidd will go in. They make the tackle jointly, 9 metres on the Penrith side of halfway. Here's Clinton to the halfway.
On the last tackle, both these sides do play a similar style. Plenty of forward charges, relying on the inside backs to create. That's Preston Campbell, who has found Cooper on the full. Chase is good. Mistake-free start from both teams as Bell gets out of the dummy half position.
So the 4th set in the game. Kidwell. Gower down low. Kidwell, one of his legs went underneath the tackle very awkwardly. He's okay. Puletua making a strong tackle then again on Cooper. Kearney's pass was a little bit, how's your father? Looked a little bit forward from here. Robinson will play the ball. Back to the dummy half Smith and then onto the right foot of Orford. And beautifully taken in by Amos Roberts, who's had a wonderful start to the year with his new club.
I don't think there's a more confident player in the NRL at the moment than that man, Amos Roberts, and rightly so. He has done absolutely everything right since joining the Panthers from the Dragons. Here's Nullavow, some good meters close to the play the ball.
Just on Roberts, he and Rooney have put together 9 tries this year. So they know how to score tries, Penrith, but their wingers in particular have bagged 9 of them. as Clinton takes his turn. 38 metres out from the Melbourne line. Tackle number 5, and Campbell is with it.
They're on.
Goes to the right foot. They're all onside. I heard the call, and Slater has made a mistake in goal. And dropout time as the crowd applaud the kick from Preston Campbell. It was perfect.
That's a vocal crowd here at Penrith, fueled by the Easter eggs they've had this morning, and Billy Slater sort of got in a wrong position to catch that. The ball was swirling around. There wasn't a great deal of pressure in the fact that there weren't chasers close by. More pressure coming up through a line dropout.
Yeah, I've got the eyes waiting. I thought he was going to lose the ball. I was waiting for the line to. Wait.
Almost 4 minutes of our Sunday match gone. And the first big mistake of the game, in fact the first mistake of the game, made by Melbourne's Billy Slater. Under the high ball from Preston Campbell. Now Clinton. Looking at almost at the 20-metre line. You can see they're about 23 metres in from the Western Grandstand as Pritis goes to the blind side, links up there with Nullivar. And Nullivar is held and pulled away by Webster on the left side of defence with Rodney Howe's assistance. Then Campbell, now Gower. Then a short ball up for Pulatua. Melbourne's defence, though, read the play. They read it very well. But there were 3 in the tackle. Their numbers are down in the straight line. Now Campbell weaves, gets it away for Gower. Gower goes to the line. Players in motion. Girdler's in, but there is a forward pass. Well, it looked absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, he had 2 or 3 options here to score the try, Gower. Beautiful work by Preston Campbell and Pritis around the rucks. Created some dancing space for the little fellow. Gower got across the field. That's forward. Good decision. But he could have given it to Waterhouse on the inside. He could have dummied and got himself. He could have given it to Wesser. I think any one of them would have got across the line.
Don't come down, don't grab him and pull the head back.
Ryan Girdler very disappointed in it too, but it was forward.
Just a warning. If you do that, I'll penalise.
And it was just the Gower had too many options.
There you go. Locks in. Right, outside foot forward.
Hampstead
It's out.
warning Rodney Howe about what was, in his opinion, something close to the grapple tackle, which Melbourne have become infamous for. Now Kearney. Test match, Australia versus New Zealand, coming up on Friday week. And that is Robbie Kearns, who's let the hair grow. He's looking more like a mountain man every day. Now Reece Wesser up against another Queensland hopeful at the back of his team today.
Yeah, Ravis, just looking at this Melbourne Storm defence the first couple of times they've been in their own half, and it's quite obvious to me that the Panthers are going to play them down the left-hand side of the field towards Luke Rooney and Ryan Girdler. I know they had a no try disallowed there, but there are some nice things open to them out on the left-hand side of the field with some good decoy runs and bodies in motion.
Stephen Kearney penalised by Sean Hampstead, and just translating that, he said you were working him. In other words, the tackle had been made and he tries to keep him, or tries to roll him onto his back, in other words working him into a position where the player is going to take longer to get up and play the football. And so that was the penalty against the captain, Kearney. Lang taking it up as always solidly. Then Gower floats a lovely ball across to Campbell, and a flying Ryan Girdler will play the ball just beyond 30. Luke Lewis is the dummy half. He finds Clinton almost at full gait, and he plays the ball back to Pritis, who decides to work the blind before turning it up the middle. Pulatua's lost the ball. Melbourne have got it. Kearney diving on it. Pulatua didn't show much protection for it there. There's Pulatua coming to grief under some good tackling by Smith and Kearns, and then it was good reaction from Kearney, falling on an opportunity. Here's Robinson just outside the 40-metre line on the 4th tackle. They've only come 22 metres. Here is Smith, and he's taken it into opposition territory by a few metres, playing on the western side of the ground. Melbourne running towards the north, and Orford makes a knock-on of it. It's an advantage rule, and so it's Penrith allowed to go on with it. Campbell comes off his left foot, tries to go between Hill and Kearney, but they combine to put him down. So Melbourne have to regroup and get that line together. Here is Lang again, banged into the ground by Kearns over the top and Howe underneath. A couple of glaring mistakes made by Melbourne, and you wouldn't believe it. One by Slater, one by Orford. Arguably their best players as Gower runs it, turns it around for Reece Wesser to be tackled. 20 metres out from the Melbourne line. 20 metres in from touch, western side. Here is Prentice running and looking at Campbell and then throwing the dummy. 10-metre line. As you can see there, hitting the southern end of the ground as Gower floats it round the corner. Pulatua stepped out of one. Tries to bang it down. I think he might have done it. Yes, he has. That is a try for Tony Pulatua.
And a strong effort. Typically strong from Tony Pulatua. What a pairing this second row is for Penrith. Came on the back of a very uncustomary mistake there from Matt Orford, just taking his eyes off the football. And then there's not a lot on here. Poor Tony Pulatua takes the inside ball. Kearns is low there. He's able to step through that tackle. Comes to Slater. Hill comes in, so does Kidwell. But somehow the right arm gets out and bangs the football down in front of the referee.
Good work by Craig Gower too. He was on the right-hand side of the play. The ball floated around to the left as the ball was played. Picked up his big man through the middle of the ruck. Shrugged off Kearns. And with the big Dirk, reaches out and slams it down on the line.
Pulatua coughed up possession just a minute ago, scoring the first try of the day. They've won 9 of their last 12 games here at Penrith and won 9 of their last 11 daytime games. As Girdler hits it, doesn't take a big swing at it and misses it. So it's 4-0 in favour of the Panthers. They're playing in front of their home crowd on the wide world of sports. Here's Lang. Down on the 40-metre line. Kearney tried to work him over onto his back, but Lang was having no part of it. Here's Waterhouse. 30 out. 18 in from touch. Now it's 25 in from touch with Prentice turning it back for Gower. Gower to Waterhouse. A little juggle. The ball goes loose. Scooped up by King. King now tries to get through. Gets away from Clinton. Steps another. Beats Wesser. Comes towards Campbell. Gets to halfway. Good run. Good run. Give yourself something out of the till. Now Hill. Talking of the till. 40 metres out from the line. That was a good run by King. Here's Kidwell. Here's another penalty going to Melbourne.
Look at the touch,
What are you laughing at?
No, I like the look of him, King. Although I was waiting for a right foot step. He threw about 5 left footers altogether. He was 1 forward and 2 to the side, 1 forward and 2 to the side. Beat a few.
That's the Jazz Waltz, isn't it?
I was waiting for a right foot step. I was saying straighten up, straighten up.
Here they come now, Melbourne. And the big fella's on, the man from Snowy River. Kurt Reynolds. Smith sweeping it away. Hill uses Kearns. Kearns goes at Nullavow. 4-0 in favour of Penrith. Smith away. Orford, that's a try! Robinson has put it over the line. Hampstead's not going anywhere, but point to the spot he does. Lovely little pass to put the man in for the try. Yes. I thought Kearns, when he played the ball, there might have been a breach. This all started back with King, Peter.
It did, and he's got a bit of pedigree. Matt King, he's only got a handful of first-grade games under his belt, but his brothers both played a lot of football in the top grade, Andrew King and Chris King. And there we see Matt Orford at his best as he goes to the line. As we freeze it there, you can see that this man is actually being helped by this guy on the outside and this guy on the outside. And as play continues, it's just a little one off the shoulder. Luke Lewis staying out on his man, but Peter Robinson straight through the gap. You won't see a shorter pass thrown.
Question. Conversion. Successful. Off the boot of the hooker. Orford. Scott Hill. Tackle just outside the 20-metre line. Playing it back to Bell, and Bell finds Danny Williams, and Williams met by a 2-man Penrith tackle. 2 of the backs making the tackle, Wesser and Gower. Now Reynoldson, taken by Prentice, got the ball back to Kidwell. He's tackled, 11 metres up, not held, he's away, he's penalised.
The referee had called held, and you can hear him say that to David Kidwell. The ball hits the ground, needs to be done so with a defender hanging on. Let's have a look. Kidwell goes up the middle, looked to me as though the defenders had fallen off.
That's the way it looked to me. We had an incident the other day where somebody got up and scored a try from a similar situation.
Yeah, it was in the Panthers Roosters game. Brad Fittler got up a couple of times in the game. Once he got penalised, once they let it go. But that's one too where the player sometimes gets up and tries to play the ball quickly, and the defence thinks he's going to run, so they knock him down, and you're penalised for interfering in the play of the ball. So it's a real grey area in the game.
It is, but I just want to stress one point. He doesn't have to call Hill. If you tackle and the ball hits the ground and you've got a player hanging on to you, you are deemed to be tackled. The referee can say nothing. Rodney.
A couple of replacements out there now for Penrith in Shane Rodney and Frank Pritchard, number 16. Keep an eye on this kid. Only 7 games last year, but he is a talent. Gower into the corner. Won't touch a metre out. We'll bring it back a bit.
That's an interesting play by Craig Gower. It's not an attacking kick. It's virtually just putting it down into the corner to give his side a little bit of a spell, and maybe those steamy conditions out there and the amount of defence the Panthers have been doing just played on his mind with that particular kick, thinking let's get it over the sideline, have a breather before we have to defend again.
There's plenty out there sucking in the big ones.
We're sucking them in up here, Ray, so imagine how they feel.
Bell. You were sweating and you were having lunch. Here's Webster now. Pretty hard work with that knife and fork, Gus. Here's King. Now Williams. He loses the ball. Chance for the Panthers. Roberts in and around 360. Now he goes towards Reynoldsson. Bumps away from him. Then he gets away again from Smith. Gives the ball to Lewis. Lewis taken by his opposite number. And he'll be made to play the ball. Prittis. The count has been restarted. That's Pritchard. Prittis sweeping it left. Gower. Campbell. Dummy to Resso and then took the tackle full on by Danny Williams. Prittis away for Gower. Gower dummies to Pritchard. Finds Waterhouse. Ball to ground. Scooped up by Prittis. Taken by King for Melbourne. Gower. Orford away from dummy half, trying to bring the penalty as he runs away, looking for one of these so-called markers to have a shot at him.
A real lack of precision in Penrith attack inside their opponent's 20.
Hoffman is on in 17 for Melbourne. As Reynoldsson is picked up and piled away. Cameron Smith, the number 9, Scott Hill, the 6, throws the dummy, tries to step through, but Rodney is there with Pritchard. And a little knock on and to play the ball. We'll see a scrum pack there. This is where Penrith are so strong. I'm starting to call names like Rodney and Pritchard and Ross. They can have their big boppers, the big names, having a breather, and all of a sudden they've got these other fellows off the bench that are just as capable.
Ray, they've been there a while now. We look at the team that they've named this afternoon. There's only 3 changes to the team that played in round 1 last year, and only 2 faces different to the grand final 17 at the end of last year. So they've come through with basically the same squad now for over 12 months.
Somebody once said to me, if you want to work out very quickly how good a team is, have a look at their bench. And gee, it certainly applies to Penrith. There's no doubt about that. Pritchard is with the ball now. Andrew, sideline.
Yeah, gee, I'm impressed by some of these young Melbourne players, inexperienced players. Over on the left side, Matty King and Jake Webster doing really well. Jake Webster defending on the line in the previous set, pulled off a great tackle on Trent Waterhouse. There's a lot to like about him.
Played there by Ross, and away from dummy half goes Prittis. Prittis is going up inside the 10. Got a ball away, and Big Ross, he was there supporting. He's built like a giant. He did well. He made it possible for Prittis originally. Then he followed the little fellow like a greyhound chasing the lure, and he puts it over the line.
He's so good at this, Luke Prittis. He did it in last year's grand final. He did it last week against the Roosters. He frees it there. You can see that, or he can see that the markers were a little bit slow up, and that's where he wants to get in, behind that play the ball area. And his play continues. The markers, well, he's past them, comes to the first defender, strong enough to stride through. Willie Slater probably needed to go high on Luke Prittis so he couldn't throw the football. But in big matches, this is what he sweats on, and he invariably comes up with the bust up the middle.
He does his homework. He does his homework. This isn't just on the day of the match. He looks at the team he's playing against. He looks at footage of them playing in previous weeks. He sees who the slow market offenders are.
Girdler then, with an easy attempt at conversion, he raises the flags and it puts the Panthers in front again. 10-6.
Come into this weekend, or into this game, not the weekend, but into this match spurred on the ladder. Melbourne out to 10th, just on 4 points. But the Melbourne Storm have had the bye already. They need to start winning some more football games. Just the one win so far over the Dragons.
Cooper from Orford, then a dummy half, finding Hoffman. 4 changes made by the Panthers, 3 by Melbourne, coached by Craig Bellamy. 22 metres out from the line, played by King. Smith offloading for Danny Williams, who failed originally by Preston Campbell's tackle. Confirmed by Waterhouse. Kearns, 10 from the halfway now. Played back for Cameron Smith to sweep it out of the way for Orford. 10-6 the score in favour of Penrith as Reece Wesser fields the ball and comes out beyond the 10, running into Hoffman. Williams is there with him. And
touch is coming in for a knockdown here. Stephen Kearney on Preston Campbell. Campbell is going through trying to get to Matt Orford, the kicker. But the touch is seen an indiscretion here against Kearney.
You don't even know what he's on for. Just wait till he tells you what you've got to say. Obviously, you must think you're guilty. All right, that's all he's got to say. Hey, Steve, come here, please. Come here, please. Come here. Right, you heard what he had to say. You didn't even know what he's coming out for, so obviously, well, that's what it was. You must have knew you were guilty. Just here.
Wow, how are you going if you go to court and you walk in and the judge says, well, you must think you're guilty? You've had something to say already.
the interesting part about all of this is what happened. Kearney on Campbell. The penalty, as you saw, was given for that indiscretion, but the touch judge said not only did he do that, but he abused me as well. And Hampstead didn't even mention the abuse of the touch judge when delivering his findings.
His verdict.
Prittis, Gower, second man play to Wesser, now Roberts, there! Amos Roberts has put it over the line. I think it's okay, but the touch judge has had something to say to the ref. It'll be to do with the corner post, I fancy.
Now, this will be try number 6 for the season for Amos Roberts. He didn't have much ground to work in. He's a mile away from the corner post.
This is the touch judge that thought he was abused by Stephen Kearney. Now he's...
Well, look, he's there.
I understand. I'm watching the same picture. What corner post?
Oh, dear.
There must be an invisible corner post there somewhere.
We've got to query his evidence on the previous play then, if that's exactly his eyesight is.
Maybe Kearney didn't abuse.
Well, we've got a quick decision this time, and great work from Roberts. He had no room to work in. Little stutter step involved as they get their next try 3 minutes out from half-time. And again, we go back to the Stephen Kearney penalty. Should have been down the other end of the field, the play. Penrith take advantage. Nice decoy run. Matt King comes in when he needed to stay out on Reece Wesser. And Amos Roberts.
There goes the corner post. 3 minutes later.
This is poor defence by the Melbourne Storm because they actually had more numbers than the offence. They did it to themselves. Winger and centre had changed positions in the defensive line. And it's even a poor grab at the end. But the Panthers came down the short side with 3 attackers and the opposition had 4 or 5 defenders. There, wink the eye, that's it, we're right. We've got it.
Yeah, if they slide there, they stop the try, don't they?
We might need a replay if this goes through the post too.
Girdler. 21 out on the touchline. It's coming around. Has it got the length? Yes! It has got everything. 38 minutes gone. Panthers by 10. Andrew.
Yeah, well, Amos Roberts, what a turnaround it is. Last year in those 10 games he played for the Dragons, only scored 3 tries. Now 6 tries in 3 games. Look, I'll hop on the corner post, high horse again. What's the point of having the corner post? That one's not even up straight in the corner, so if he did touch it, it's well and truly out of the field of play. And then Ryan Girdler, perfect with the boot. He would have been very disappointed with his first kick today. By Ryan's standards, it was a shocker, his first shot today, but back on song just then.
Scotty Hill.
game. You just get a bit of everything. Every week.
It's the best.
Good luck. Certainly got some kind of an attraction, Peter. I've been around it for 40 years. It's become addictive. Yeah. Here's Lewis. He's got Roberts on his outside. There goes Roberts. Look out, Billy. There's the kick over the top. Slater puts it down. Good rugby league. Good contact.
No, why did he kick, Ray? Why did he kick? Have a look at Trent Waterhouse on the inside. Magnificent pass from Craig Gower. Lewis does well. He attracts two defenders, puts Roberts away. Look at the inside. Trent Waterhouse, Preston Campbell lining up.
I'll give him a go.
Billy Slater quick enough to turn and bat it dead.
Jeez, he must have from Toe Waterhouse. I mean, they weren't exactly dawdling.
He lurks out wide there. He can certainly gallop. Beautiful work by Luke Lewis. He knew the defence was holding off him, but he just charged into the hole, drew both defenders, got it around the outside. That's a try bomb.
Oh, Clinton! It ran into Danny Williams and his body buckled. Williams is not a big man, but he's a tough little nut. Here's Ross.
Yeah, penalty against Danny Williams, pushing him down.
Right on half-time.
Yeah, take the two.
35 seconds away. Girdler will put it over from in front. That's the size of Danny Williams there. It's probably... Look at that. He buckled Clinton. Clinton looked like the letter C. And Williams, he mixes with these big blokes. He's been doing it for years.
He's got no respect for his own body, Danny Williams. He doesn't. He thinks he's going to get a new one when football's over. He thinks he can use this one and then trade it in, because he's using this one to the full limit. He's going to wear it right out.
He looked like the letter C. It's Sesame Street.
There it is. Good, the penalty kick by Girdler. Right on the half-time siren. 16-6 becomes 18-6 at the break. Ready to blow time on. Second half of our Sunday football this Easter Sunday. 18-6, the Panthers leading over the Melbourne Storm. And the big kick-off has gone down to Billy Slater, and he sends it across for Kearns to bring it out. Champions of 2003 versus the champions of 99. 6 times they've played, Melbourne have come out on top, which is surprising, but true. 4 times they've played here, and twice Melbourne have won. Things were going all right for them today as well, until with a couple of hurdles and a couple of indiscretions. And a little bit of time later, they were down 18 points to 6 as Rooney comes back with the ball with Penrith's first set of 6 in the second half. Wesser is buckled over there by the Melbourne defence, 3 of them in all, led by Danny Williams. And the rule that Wesser has lost the ball in getting up. I thought Williams might have had something to do with it, actually. He used Wesser, if you like, as he got up. It's a fine line. I mentioned it earlier with the try to Melbourne when Robbie Kearns tried to get up and play the ball. He didn't get up and play the ball. But do you blame him, or do you blame the person hanging on to it? They can go either way, the referee. Here's Hill going around the back, picking up Slater. King giving him a decoy. 30-metre line for Hill, a dummy half. And Kearns hung the boots up as far as representative football is concerned. Orford handing it back to Reynoldsson. 12 away from the line. They come to the western touchline. Hill looks to unload, throws the ball back in desperation. Waterhouse dives on it for the Panthers. Rooney trying to clear for Penrith.
I'm sure that John Lang will have reminded his team at half-time, and I know that Vossi will give us a report shortly about their 20 minutes to start the second half against the Roosters last week. They had a great first 40 minutes, lost their way, and they've started this second half with 2 ordinary mistakes from Wesser and Pritchard.
Good chance here for Penrith, for Melbourne I should say, to get back in this game. 12-point deficit. Scrum right in the centre of the park, 20 metres from the line. Orford away to Slater, he beat Campbell, floats the pass, Webster heads for the corner, throws the pass, and it's with Roberts.
He's gone out, but what an effort here from Luke Lewis. Luke Lewis gets caught out coming back inside, and he's had to turn and chase, and somehow gets to the winger. And there, yes, he was out. Could definitely touch the line before the ball went back to Roberts.
Yeah, you're fair. Yeah, went out. Yeah.
That's the same linesman. He picked that one up and couldn't see the bloke was a yard inside the corner post.
There, Luke. Lob in, mate. Just go at the back.
Blood bin.
Got a blood in, fellas.
For Luke Lewis.
All right, go in.
He's developed into a fine player, this kid. Both attack and defence, really developing nicely.
I can't believe that he's not in the 25-man squad. I know that doesn't mean that he can't play in that test match, but surely after touring in the form that he's displayed this year, he had to be there somewhere.
Yeah, well, it was disappointing that he wasn't in the third test last year after touring with the side. They picked up Darren Smith out of a local club side to take that role.
Robbie Cohn's hands off now.
I hate to think that his exclusion to the 25-man squad had something to do to justify that decision.
L4, let him up now, let him up.
Waterhouse. Ross. Kearns and Hoffman.
Tackle! Last.
Tackle in the middle of the ground, 40 metres out from the Panthers line. He's inside the 40 as he gets a shot away. And a running Billy Slater back on the 10, outside the 20, heading for the 30-metre line before he's upended by the Panthers' Rodney. This is Cooper.
They've got to take advantage of this slow start by the Panthers. The Melbourne Storm, if they can put some points on the board early now, sometimes when you start the second half with a bit of lethargy, it's hard to snap out of it. They need to punish them on the scoreboard. That's not going to help.
Pritchard picking up the loose ball. 35 metres out from the Melbourne line. Scott Hill leaving it on the ground. Clinton with a charge. Carries three of the Storm players to ground with him, and now Prittis a scoop from dummy half, and then Campbell fires the ball out to a bandage Lewis out there on the right side. Lewis light stepping off that right foot, shows it to Wesser. Was there obstruction? No. Now it's a crawling Luke Lewis who's held by Kearns 3 metres out from the line. That was a brilliant effort. Ross goes for the line, forced back.
Dominant tackle.
Prittis now looking at Campbell, thinking about it himself, and then Campbell gives it on to Gower. Inside ball for Rodney! Out of one, out of two! Rodney puts it over the line. Panthers in to score at the northern end.
And again, as in their last try, they've created something pretty much out of nothing here. That's the ball going down, and Frank Pritchard picking it up to give his side possession at the right end of the field. And Luke Lewis, some light, fantastic, stepping his way back through. Was there an obstruction behind Reece Wesser? No, Robbie Kearns, he just dropped off. In fact, Kearns will end up coming to clean up the tackle. And now with this inside run, they're putting pressure on the inside defender to come up with the tackle. They come wide, Gow will turn it back, and as we freeze it there, it is now this defender here who is under pressure. And as play continues, he must make the tackle on Rodney and coming across. Reynoldsson slips out of the tackle, and Rodney's good enough to beat Slater as well.
Have a look at the depth in this play. I mean, Campbell's 10 metres out from the line, and he'll throw it back to Gower, who's nearly 20 metres out from the line. That's tremendous depth. That makes the defence come up and make some decisions. They make the wrong decision on this occasion. Reynoldsson can't clean up Rodney. Big, strapping young man, this fella. He can gallop too, and he puts it down. But the depth of the passing is what got that try.
Girdler online. Conversion successful. The try by Rodney came at the 46th minute. Kearns.
Let him up now, let him up. All right, Penny.
A test of their resolve here, Melbourne. Very easy for them to roll up their tent and say that's enough for the afternoon. Kafusi is on in 16 as Reynoldsson takes a good hit from Pritchard. Back to Kafusi. And now it's away for Hoffman. 10 out from the line, over on the touchline, eastern side of the ground. Webster pumps it a couple of times, then Smith, now Hill. Hill surrounded by black jumpers, gives it to Reynoldsson, gives it to Slater. Slater kicks, a race is on, Cooper's looking for it! And Cooper may have got this before the dead ball line. He's gone for a replay.
I think he's definitely got there before the dead ball line. Whether he's been able to get downward pressure on the football, Dustin Cooper believes that's the case. The Penrith defenders had come in, and the wide man Cooper, who's onside, was looking for a wide pass. It ended up coming in the form of a kick, the ball coming his way. Bad bounce for Luke Rooney. I don't think there's any doubt he's well before the dead ball line, but can he get the football down properly? I'm fine with that. I've got no dramas with it.
The best judge you need is about the 400 Panthers fans sitting down behind the fence there in that corner. They just went stony quiet. And that was a fair indication that the Storm had scored a try here. Got no problem with that. He does well because the ball bounces up and he's able to squeeze it down against the turf. And all the budding video referees behind the fence down there in that southwestern corner, they went as quiet as a church mouse. If he'd have knocked that on, they'd have been cheering.
I think the other good gauge, Gus, is also the person himself, and I think Cooper was coming back fairly confidently, that saying to teammates, well, I think we're back in it.
This should be a green light for Dustin Cooper. And it is a try. So that is Melbourne just fractionally back. Stephen Bell was in close quarters. He had no doubts it was a try.
Well, the NRL should go down and sign up all those people in the southeast and southwestern corner here behind the fence as budding video referees. They got it right straight away. He chases this one in behind Rooney, gets out, gets the hand on it. And like I said, everyone in the crowd down there, all the Panthers supporters, they sat there with their poker faces on. They didn't make a murmur.
They might be happy in their current work. Did you ever think of that? You're trying to make them unhappy in life.
We need some video referees, mate.
Nice work there from Billy Slater. He's normally the man putting the football down for tries, but this time he saw that there was a bit of space out wide. There you can see the assignment in front of Cameron Smith. He hit his first kick nicely. And need to do the same so to turn this 4 into 6.
2 minutes gone in the second half. Smith from the sideline. Oh, it's a horror. It is way out in front of the uprights.
Look at these Panthers players walking back on side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them have only just now got back behind the ball. They've started this second half pretty slowly, the Panthers. I know they scored the first try. The Storm only need to get one more on the board, and I think this could go down to the wire.
Gower. Girdler. Rodney's with him on the outside. They've developed an extra man on the left, but they take the tackle. Rooney was away down the left side if Rodney catches and passes. Now Gower. And then it's Campbell. Now it's away to Waterhouse. Loses the ball. And he was through the gap.
Gee, they're exciting when they get into space. They can create a half chance down one side of the field. And then on the other side, here they are all looming. There's Pulatua, Waterhouse hitting the hole, Campbell, Gower in support, Pritis looking to back up. They all get around the football when there's opportunity on. Nice little play. Waterhouse nearly got it the first grab, couldn't hold on to it the second one, but he was into space.
Kidwell in 13, about to come back into the game. Next Friday, our telecast will come to you from New Zealand. A match between Canterbury, their home game. The Bulldogs up against the Warriors. You'll see that on Friday Night Football at 8:30.
And gee, don't the Warriors need a win? Struggling.
Robinson, who got the Melbourne try to kick them off, taken to a lead early on. Kearns almost breaking through, tackled on the halfway mark. Then for Orford. Hill is with the ball, snaps it back to Hoff. Orford, way to his 5'8". Oh, gee. Scott Hill hammered by Gower. He's all right. And he's back in this southwestern corner as Rooney is able to get away from Cooper. Look at that. Girdler. Rooney. 20-metre line on 4. Lamb on 5.
Yeah, that replay, I'm a little unlucky they didn't get a penalty for that, for an accidental high shot. It wouldn't have gone any further than that. No need to report it all, but contact was up fairly high on Scott Hill. He wasn't late. The contact was high.
Slater. Roberts around the legs and Lewis over the top to the halfway mark. King running the play at Priddis and Pulatua. Just beyond the Melbourne, should I say just beyond the Penrith 40-metre line. Kidwell ends with the ball on his back just outside the 30. Melbourne with Orford stepping beautifully. Look at him go! And it's Matt Orford going over to score for Melbourne. Their third try. Heavens, Buff, didn't he take off when he hit the button?
He'd have been relishing this opportunity to come up against Craig Gower. And this is what he does week in, week out for the Melbourne Storm. There's nothing on. He goes to the line. Little step to beat Pulatua. The fend to get rid of Rodney. Comes to Wesser. Good leg drive. Good body strength to get through that tackle. So in a space of about 20 metres there, you see a little bit of everything. Great step. Beats one. The fend to beat two. And now just speed and power to beat three.
And this has been coming. As I said, the Panthers have been very lethargic. They're lucky they scored the first try of this second half, because if the Storm had to put points on the board straight away, we'd have a pretty close ball game here. As it is, there's only going to be 8 in it. With 23 minutes left to go, I'm assuming he's going to kick the goal. But that sort of little bit of lazy defence around the rucks there, taking nothing away from the Orford run, has been coming for a while. The Panthers have got to snap out of it. And if the Storm can get a little bit of wind in their sails, who knows?
Smith raises the flags, brings on the extras.
Last year, the Penrith team, they played 27 matches. They had 11 players who started 25 games or more in the top grade. That's remarkable.
Here's Nulliver. Lang. David Kidwell bouncing back from the impact. Pulatua scored the first try for the Panthers. Campbell.
40-20.
Very good.
Oh,
kick,
now out on the full. Oh.
It's gone out on the full, has it? Oh, gee, I thought, looking at the reaction from the Melbourne player, it was a beauty.
It was a good kick. That's our friendly linesman over there.
Oh, no, he's right.
He's 40 metres away. He's absolutely inch perfect. He's the one in the first half who wanted the video replay in the corner. He's come good. The eyes have cleared.
He's like a dog with a bone,
I was
Gus.
going to say he's like a dog with a bone.
In you go, Dave.
He's not going to let go, our Gus.
He was a yard and a half inside the corner post.
No, Robbie.
This is an hour ago.
They got it right, Gus. They got it right.
God love him.
It's out, it's out.
Here's Kidwell.
Go on,
Right
Craig, let him up.
30 metres out from the line, they keep going, and then Hill turns it in for Hoffman to be banged into the ground. Federera got him at exactly the right moment. Now Kearns, strong run, 15 out from the line. Played back to Steve Bell, and Bell centres the play. Now he's got Lang hanging on, and Pulatua or Nullivar coming over the top. Smith. Long ball to Orford. Orford gets a second man play away. King is looking at the corner, looking at the line. He's made it! King has scored for Melbourne. Well, the 99 premiers are coming back.
Well, the body language says that they are. You can just see in the last few minutes, Penrith starting to look a little bit weary. And Melbourne, with those tries that they've scored, growing in stature. Now, how much has he got to do here? Matt King, he beats Luke Lewis, who was a great defender. He goes through Preston Campbell. He comes to Wesser, shrugs him off, gets in low. He's had a fine match this afternoon, Matt King, and that just tops it off nicely, getting across from 15 metres and beating a stack of players to do so.
Said it on the footy show today. When you can get the Penrith defence sliding and guessing, they're nowhere near as strong in defence. And that time there are a couple of nice passes and some decoy runs, as with the try in the first half. The Panthers get sliding, they get back on their heels, and physically they don't muscle up in defence. And he pulled through 3 pretty feeble efforts there And the Storm, well, it's hard to snap out of the lethargy once you start with it. The Panthers have now got a game on their hands. 10 minutes ago, they were home.
Smith, his kick is there. The flags are up. And so too are the Melbourne fans. Kidwell. Now Orford. And it's been put down by Melbourne. And Lang it is who picks it up, and the referee plays the advantage with Wesser. Tackled 10 metres on his own side of halfway. 14 and a half minutes to go. Plays the ball near halfway. Lang with a surge up the middle.
Well, we're going down to the wire all right with 15 to go, but I do get the feeling that the next try scorer wins the game.
Up there. Campbell, down. Wesser coming up. Rodney with the ball. Rodney tries to beat them himself. Gap is closed by Scott Hill's tackle with an assist from Bell. Wesser for Gower, then to Campbell. Campbell rifles a ball out to Lewis. Lewis looks for Roberts to come inside. He does that. He gets it over the line. Amos Roberts will put it over twice today. What's that? 7 for the year. Roberts scores for the Panthers.
And what about this pass from Preston Campbell? He takes it, goes to the line as we freeze it there. He's going to pick up this man. He's going to throw the pass that goes over the top like that, and as play continues, something comes out of nothing. Onto the chest of Luke Lewis, and Lewis does a great job here. Sums up the situation, decides to take King on the outside, gets the ball back on the inside, a juggle there from Amos Roberts. Again, making something difficult look very easy.
I'm just wondering whether a Melbourne Storm player is taken out here that could have contested this ball with Roberts. The ball will go back on the inside and pop up for Roberts. Oh, his foot is very close to the line there as well.
Don't worry.
But see a Storm
man's on the job.
Yeah, see a Storm player taken out there in the back play as to whether or not he could have competed with Roberts for that ball. Still great play by Lewis. And Preston Campbell, what a ball. There was nothing doing and just found a man in space out wide.
It's also a pass run on the non-preferred side for most players. Quite easy to throw those kind of passes right to left, but left to right, it's much more difficult to throw it with precision. What a big conversion coming up now for Ryan Girdle. His side leads by 6. He could put his team more than one converted try in front with this shot.
He doesn't miss these. He just doesn't miss them.
I bet you he loves hearing that. He's just gone from even money to 6 to 1.
Girdler from 8 metres in from touch. Oh, you're right. He is clairvoyant. Salute to the big Gus. He doesn't miss them. Gus told you so. With 12 to go, it's an 8-point ball game.
The game comes down to this set of 6. They've got to get themselves back in it here.
Bell.
Someone let him go now, let him go.
Taken down by Martin Lang. Smith. Reynoldson.
L2.
2 metres up.
He's out, he got it. He's got the ball, he's got the ball. Let go of the ball.
And they did what they set out to do, to slow it down. Orford. Kearney shows it. Not tackled. Now he is. Pulled down by Nullivan. Orford. Howe ran a decoy. Hill is with the ball. Renison puts it on the ground. That was their chance.
I think he was in space too. It was similar to the play that came up with the first try. Hill shapes to miss him, pops a little ball. Well, if he holds on to it, he's only 5 metres out from the line and Wesser to beat. Here's from head on, pops it up. Well, he never really looked like catching it, did he? He thought he was a decoy.
When you form, I'll talk to him if you want it.
The first rule about being a decoy runner is you've got to expect the ball. You've got to look like you want it,
There you go.
and you've got to expect it.
That's on foot forward. Down, down.
Lewis.
Someone let him go. Hands off now.
Solid effort today by Luke Lewis. Wesser from dummy half.
Let him up now.
Something that he did a lot more last year than he's racked up this year.
L3, let him up now. All the way, Storm. That's me.
Lang. Down. Oh, Pulatua loses it.
Hands off now. Let him up. Run 0.
Again, the door is just a little bit open. Kearney. wasted tackle, really. They needed to do more with that play. Howe, Reynolds. Good defence, none of that. Reynolds plays it. Smith gives it. Hill runs it. Slater's lurking. 12 out from the line. And here goes Smith again. The decoy. Crawford. Beautiful little kick. They're going to make it, Melbourne. King has gone in for his second try. Well, this big centre has left a mark on the game. What a lovely kick by Orford.
Yeah, lovely kick. Matt Orford, a deliberate one. The outside chasers knew that it was coming. Strong tackle there. Maybe a very, very important tackle in the context of this game, forcing the kick. It goes to Matt Orford. He frees it there. He's kicking deliberately for that man and that man into that space back there. And as play continues, too difficult for the Penrith defenders in Roberts and Lewis to turn around and chase. They get there easily. Beautifully constructed, well executed.
They both knew it was going to be a try. The only competition they had was each other. And just at the last minute, discretion gets the better part of valour, and they get it right. But the Storm now, 5.5 minutes left on the clock. 4 points the difference. They need another try to win, whether or not he kicks this goal.
From touch, left the boot okay, but it's 5 minutes to go. 4 points the difference by Reynolds. Webster brought it away from dummy half. The ball is with Robinson.
And Reece Wesson realises that there's not much time. You can see him at right of shot there. Now very aware that Matt Orford may look to put the little kick over. Surprise tactic. The second last use for the Melbourne Storm, maybe the last.
Hill. Bell. Good tackle, good shot there by Prentice. As Hill unloads to Slater. They've gone out looking for Cooper, and Cooper's got the ball, but the ball has travelled forward, according to the referee.
Well, he too looked up. He had plenty of space in front of him. It was beautiful play between Hill and Billy Slater, and he was looking downfield. It wasn't an easy one, but he was looking at the space behind. He was off and gone. Justin Cooper, what's going through his head? He's saying, just if only.
Yeah, when they form the scrum, I call it.
Rodney Howe, forget how many minutes Andrew said he played. He's off again. Andrew, he had attracted a lot of attention from referee Hampstead in the early part of the game. Maybe that's got something to do with it. As Campbell finds Wesser. Wesser loses the ball. Melbourne again with the football. King. 1.25 minutes to go. Smith to Kidwell. Kidwell on the halfway, finding Robinson. Bennett with Orford. Orford stammers and tries to step through on the halfway line. Melbourne number 7 playing the ball. Kafusi, he takes it ahead. 41 metres out from the Panthers line. Now we're at the 50-second marker. It is with Hill. Goes for a gap. Gets away. He's inside the 20. Flick passes to nobody. It's gone into touch. Scotty Hill again is down, cursing the ground. He was crying a moment ago. Now he's thumping the ground.
Well, I'm not sure if he's cursing the pass or the fact that the winger wasn't there. But Penrith, they've given the opposition every opportunity here. Martin Lang.
Now,
John Lang. It's one of the Langs. He's not happy. Now the winger, he goes back in field, the number 5. Scott Hill doesn't know. So close.
Scott Hill banging his fist into the ground, and Johnny Lang throwing his headset and microphone into the ground. Gow. Slowly does he play. Fanawira. Seconds to go. Panthers have won it. Panthers by 30 points to 26. Thrilling game of football. And plenty of mistakes. But it had a lot of entertainment.